place to be. Analyze the players and the team. Keep a great company in the stream.
It's a Murali End. Welcome to the show. We're here when you're high. We're here when you're low. Some days you're happy, some days you wanna win. When happy, it's we, when mad, it's them. It's the same place, Murali End. Sri Lanka cricket, we gon' represent. So tell a friend.
Hi everyone, welcome to Murali End. My name is Mark Machado. I'm joined by I'm in London. I'm the Professor of Pathology, which is specifically my PhD is around the buffets of Colombo. And I'm joined by my cousin across the pond, Dominic Machado, the Professor of Cricketology. And we are talking about the conclusion of the Sri Lanka versus England ODI series minutes, a little bit late. Sorry, I had to do some work around actual real work around the game. But Sri Lanka lost. But Dom, it was we went down in a blaze of glory today.
Yeah. I have to say I admired the fight. I thought the way they attacked the innings was laudable. You could see that they came in with a plan to attack the England bowlers and make them pay. And they did that, for the first 10 overs. They lost maybe a couple more wickets. I thought also for the first time we got to see a little bit of the aggression we're going to want to see in a couple of weeks in the World Cup. So that was really nice. I thought Pawan batted really beautifully at number 4. He looked a proper number 4. He rotated strike. He knew how to look for the boundaries. And I think it kind of showcases why sort of the problem with sort of the construction of the squad when you have him batting at 7, right? Because you could see that was definitely his ideal role where he got to hit the ball around, work himself into the innings, hold the innings together. I thought he handled spin quite beautifully. He handles it quite differently than most other Sri Lankan batters. He gets out of the crease and comes down the wicket, but he looked really, really effective and pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was interesting, right? Because Charith, as you say, called it out the other day when he came in. I was kind of shocked. It was like a big
yeah.
I know it's like WrestleMania season's coming up, so you got to be ready for big kind of jump surprises. And maybe Pawan Ratnayake was the first of them. There's a few things this series that really surprised me about Sri Lanka and us going about our business in white ball cricket. Firstly, I think resting Hasaranga. I mean, when was the last time, if ever, Sri Lanka have ever rested players? I remember Kumar and Mahela, I think, used to do it. Kind of manage themselves a little bit at the back end of their careers. But other than that, I can't think of any time Sri Lanka have ever rested players.
I mean, Murali, right? Think about how many overs he bowled. Rest was not in the equation.
Yeah. I always believed that there was something wrong with me because I was a Sri Lankan man who got tired. I didn't think that was possible. I thought, like, we're not meant to get tired. We're not meant to break down. But seemingly,
on this point, I have to say, how much did your heart leap when you saw him holding on to his hamstring after he's bowling his 8th over? I was like, oh my God, World Cup chances up in a blaze of glory in the 3rd ODI, meaningless ODI match against England. But turns out it was a cramp, and he continued to bowl, and he looked okay. He batted, he looked okay.
Yeah, When Charith said cramp in the post match presser, or not presser, kind of whatever ceremony it is. That's when I calmed down a little bit. I just loved the way we batted today. I think the bowling today was a much better 11. I thought than previously than the last 2 games. Guys, we'll open the studio up in a bit, so if you want to come on, please do. We want to give you guys a chance to come and have a chat with us as well. I've thought a lot about this game, so we'll open it up in about 10 minutes. So get yourselves ready to go. Dinner, Lahindu, you guys haven't been on for a while. Sanuda, maybe today's the day you come on and have a chat with us. So I thought the bowling. I'm a little bit nervous that we're getting into a kind of mentality of when it's not going right, letting the game drift away from us. But more importantly, our players aren't putting their hands up and saying, "I can turn this around. I can do this." I got to like totally bizarrely for me, considering that I started this podcast during lockdown in the kind of spare bedroom. I was on comms with a former England cricketer in the shape of Darren Goff, who was apoplectic about the way Sri Lanka was setting up the field during the game, and was like, "What are they doing? This isn't quite right." I thought that at the innings break, old Sri Lanka, or typically Sri Lanka would kind of melt in reply to this, but actually they didn't. Patton was always going to be really important for us. He set the tempo really high. Kamal Mishra went with him. Kusal Mendis went with him. And now Pavan as well coming in, staked his claim for a spot. Which means he'll probably get dropped next time we play ODIs. Who knows what might happen. I felt today that second innings, I wonder how much of that was actually the players taking charge and sorting stuff out and going, "This is how we're going to chase it down." Because it didn't quite work out for Sri Lanka today, but they had an idea of what they were going to do.
What they wanted to do.
They fell much shorter than I thought they were going to fall.
Yeah, what's interesting is I have to say, and this is to Dineth's point, I'm pleased Sri Lanka said in the post game match that they have found their permanent number 4 in Pawan, and then I think the Wint 7 also pointed this out, that Charith has said that he has pleaded to management, please let Pavan bat at 4, and I think that's the right spot for him. So, and that kind of gets to your point, Mark, that this is the players' plan. This is them saying, look, you can't keep him at 7 because that's not going to be beneficial to you. He's going to, we've seen some impressive quick scoring innings from him, but that's only when he's gotten in first and then he sort of smacked around the bowlers. And I think this is the template that they have to follow. That top 3, we've always talked about it, Potham, Kusal, and Mishara. They have to put the pedal to the metal, put bowlers under pressure, and score the big and score sort of quickly, because we do not have the hitters at the back end. We do not have the 6 and 7 that can do that. So we were sort of in the opposite position from England, where they're saying, okay, we can accumulate and then dash at the end, right? Knowing that they have Brook and Butler and Jacks to do that work. We kind of have to do it the opposite, where it is we have to take advantage of that power play, maximize it. They scored 100 in the power play, take on all the bowlers, especially when the conditions allow it. And I think they have a group of players who can do it. So it was really, to me, heartening to see. Now, I think the next step, and what we'll see in the in the sort of T20 and then in the World Cup, is, okay, say you employ that strategy and you have the same situation happen where you're 104 for 2 at the end of 10 overs, and then Potham gets out. I think there is where we need the next strategic jump, and where you say, okay, rather than say we're going to soak up dot balls, we're going to continue keeping on the pressure. We're going to send in Hasaranga, or we're going to send in Asalanka or Shanaka and say the bowlers are under pressure. We cannot give them any free overs. We cannot say, okay, we're going to soak it up. So I want to see how that mentality develops over this series. I think England is going to present a big challenge for them in the T20 series, because they're going to be high octane. And I want to see Sri Lanka's plan. Now, and the other thing I'll add in is both Kusal and Potham, I thought, were a bit unlucky in getting out, right? Had one of those continued on, we might be talking a little bit differently. So I think it was really,
So just on that, I think, because I can't remember who was talking about it. They were like, well, Patham didn't need to go for that shot. He was already at his 50. And I was like, no, but that's the whole point. Like, he needs to keep just going and going and going and going and going.
Yep.
It tells you where I'm at, or where I think Patham Nissanka is at as a batter, where I think I see him get 50 off 25 and I go, damn, he should have got more. He could have got more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm now so at the innings break, I just thought the only way Sri Lanka can win this is if Patham goes and scores big basically. I kind of felt if he'd got to even 75, or if he'd got to 75 of say kind of 45 balls, slow down after the power play, I think that it's kind of a different game. But I do not resent the way he got out, because that's all we're asking him to do. I can't be angry with him if he's going about things the right way, right?
Yeah. And
there's some interesting comments. Go on, Dom.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of the things too is it is playing Pavan at 4 and then having Charith come in at 5 and then having your 6 and 7 be Leonage and DDS, right? In a chase of 350 plus. It also tells you that there is something seriously distorted about this team construction. To have both of those guys at 6, 7, and then 8 is Dunis Walalage.
You're broadcasting England. You're not allowed to say 6, 7. Sorry, just so you know.
Yeah,
this.
It's been banned at my children's school, all that stuff. But but I think that tells you a little bit about how this team is structured and whether you can maybe use your resources a little bit differently. And I think we saw Dunis Walalage again look quite comfortable as a batter. But it's a lot of pressure for a young player whose game is not power to ask him to come in at 8 and be the impetus for the innings. That's a lot of pressure. If it's Wanindu Hasaranga, it's a different thing because that's his game. But with Wella, it's not. So I wonder how much both the players and the selection committee are going to take this evidence into account and say, what does our ideal ODI setup look like? And especially when you have a pace bowling all-rounder, right? Again, Charith has been banging the drum about Milan Ratnayaka. Whether Milan Ratnayaka is that difference maker, we don't know yet, but he certainly needs to be given a shot. We need some kind of pace bowling all-rounder who can hit a long ball, whether it's him or Chamindu Wickramasinghe or Chamaka Karunaratne. We need one of them to show up and be a part of this squad.
I'm going to put the link in to come and join us. If you want to come on, hop on and have your say about how Sri Lanka have done, please do come join us. If you don't want to come on, that's absolutely fine as well. Just be in the comments. We love all of you guys. It's great to hear from you. I just want to bring this comment up, or we'll wait for people to come in and go through a few of them. William Fernando has said, shouldn't we bring Milan Ratnayaka for number 6 or 7? Because I don't see the point keeping DDS in that position. I think Milan's interesting. There's 2 players for me who I think are kind of in the side at this moment to kind of just float around and to kind of do the bits that they kind of figured out that are kind of be there, because we know we'll need you. We can't figure it out at the moment. Janeth Leonage and DDS. I think DDS today in particular maybe kind of didn't come off. Leonage potentially should have bowled a few more overs today. I don't think they realised how bad it was going to go at the back end. Otherwise, I think they might have kept some of their overs, some overs for him. But I think DDS has had he seems to be one of those people who is his inclusion seems to be quite contentious, doesn't it? In the squad, I feel bad for him because I think he's just blessed with kind of being able to do everything kind of all right. He's meant to be a top order batter, but he's just not getting the game. He's not breaking into that at this point, is he?
Right? It's a square peg round hole. If you're saying we're going to bet DDS at 4, fine, right? That's at least an acceptable strategy where you can reasonably place him. But to bat him at 7 is kind of it's a lose-lose situation. I have to say shout out to him for another amazing fielding effort in the outfield. That was absolutely brilliant. And yeah, I think the tricky part is there's no one obvious to put in there right now. No one has stuck up their hand. There's a couple people we might think of, but until we kind of develop those players who are lower order bowlers / hitters. Yeah, and I agree with William Fernando about Shanika, right? Shanika would be prime Shanika is someone you'd want in this lineup, someone who can hit big at 7, who can give you a few overs of pace. But we'll see if they work on that after the T20 World Cup. I think that's something they'll consider after the T20 World Cup. But he's someone you would like to see in that role, and certainly on fast pitches in South Africa could be very, very potent.
There's a lot of people ask about Kamindu as well, and I think we've got to talk about Kamindu at some point because Sri Lanka cricket seems to just not have any clue what to do with him. Let's bring in Kai though. Lahindu, I can see you in the back as well. We'll chat to Kai first. Kai, how's it going, bro? How you doing?
Hey guys, I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. What do you think of today's game then?
I didn't see a lot of it. I was trying to stream, but my internet's been terrible, so I listened to a lot of TalkSport pretty much to get through it.
I hope I wasn't too tedious to listen to me all day.
No, really good. Mike, you need to correct them on their pronunciation of Murali though.
There's like two things. Firstly, we talk a lot about how to pronounce it off air, and then secondly, I just think it would sound quite bad if I keep doing it every time they're doing it. And I do try. We do talk about it a lot, and they, Jared, if you don't know, I think it's fairly well documented that his wife's Sri Lankan, and he spent a lot of time in Sri Lanka. Maka and John Norman have spent a lot of time in Sri Lanka. I don't believe their wives are Sri Lankan. But I keep trying to. I noticed over the 2 games I've done that the pronunciation of Lianagay has got better.
Nice.
Over it, so I think we're slowly getting there. We're getting there, right? Just to say, Lahindu, I've lost you. I don't know what's happened to your connection, but get you on in a bit. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, Kai, go on.
Oh, I was going to say I thought Pavan batted really nicely. I didn't really see it, but from what I've seen him bat previously, and his how he sets up is quite different to a lot of batters. He sits quite deep in the crease and almost keeps his hands very close to his body, and I assume that will help with kind of wrist work. He must be. And we also see he's got a lot of footwork compared to some of the other Sri Lankan batters who stay quite deep in their crease. Right, that's the difference. Like DDS don't necessarily see a huge amount of footwork compared to someone like Pavan, who's really getting down the pitch in a flat track where the ball's not spinning. You're facing a lot of spinners. That's really effective. The other thing I was thinking is, from our spin attack today, we've got 2 leg spinners in Van der Sey and Hasaranga, who both like tossing the ball up and both like bowling quite slowly. And I was thinking, if the pitch was as flat as it looked today, would it have been better to bowl a little bit quicker and try and dart the ball in like Liam Dawson did? Because otherwise, if you're tossing up the ball to hit.
Oh, I think we've lost Kai.
It looks like Kai got hit like one of those flighted deliveries there. Oh, okay, he's back.
There he is. He's back.
He went for a second. It's been awful all day. But yeah, they keep tossing it up and bowling slowly, especially someone Harry Brook is going to hit you, right? On a flat track. On a turning track, it's different, but maybe I think Mahesh Deekshana is drifting it a lot more. I know we spoke about Axar yesterday and his ability to bowl, especially with the new ball. When you've struggled with a seamer and they've replaced Pramod, why wouldn't you bring Mahesh Deekshana? That's the direct replacement with the new ball you're looking for, right? Yeah. So that would be my thinking.
Yeah, 100% agree on the speed, right? Because Mark and I have talked about this, so I'm curious to hear your opinion on it, Kai. But our ability to read and assess pitches, even at home, right? This is a home wicket that we prepared. Like, we should know that this pitch is not taking turn the same way that it did the first 2 days, and that sort of looping it up. I think Wanindu can flatten his leg spin, but it would have made a ton of sense to go with Deekshana. And I thought Wella was probably the best bowler in terms of economy on show because he was darting it in much more than the other bowlers.
Yeah, and
sorry, I was going to say, Kai, I'm starting to formulate this idea that I'm just watching it and saying what I see. Sri Lanka are really bad at reading pitches. It doesn't matter if they're at home. I saw you at Lords, right? At Lords, we totally misread the pitch 18 months ago. I think you can go back and almost every every series there's one incident at least where we totally misread the pitch. I felt we did that today. I think some of the like the fielding, who's deciding who's bowling when, it's because of the original sinners, the pitch is misread, and I think because of that, that's an impact in team selection. And I think that the plans that they think are going to happen are just wrong. I don't know what they're looking at, because clearly today England quite quickly figured out this was a good pitch to bat on and how they wanted to bat on it. And then I actually think you're going to go back and look at that bowling performance from England, and it isn't that great. I put like, in time, and actually a lot of those wickets, if you look at from the Liana Gay run out, it's probably the key moment for England in terms of the bowling when they start to kind of get into it. Then after that, this kind of pressure starts to build on Sri Lanka because the run rate starts to run away from them. Yeah. And I think that's the moment, that's the point where Sri Lanka start to kind of, we're going down in a blaze of glory, and I'm cool with that. But I don't think, England, but I still think England kind of read it slightly better than we did. Their spinners kind of knew, were thinking about rearing speed way before ours had. Admittedly, but maybe that's because they batted on it as well. And I don't know. Sorry, I'm having a little rant there. Going.
Well, I think that's something you do on the go, right? So even if you don't identify a pitch correctly, and obviously, as you pointed out, I think we did it against Bangladesh a couple of times as well. But generally, like what a pitch is going to be like in Sri Lanka. This one played a bit differently. Maybe you could have guessed that considering Harry Brook's comments, and probably gotten someone in SLC's head, right, about the pitch, and they've decided to give him a flat track where he's absolutely dominated. But other than that, like if you think about, if you don't read a pitch right, me as a bowler, I play a lot of club cricket, but like as a bowler, if I read a pitch and it's not playing how you think it, you've got to be able to vary and change, right? If it's a flat track, then as a seamer, I'm bowling more slow balls, Yorkers, kind of bumpers. You got to kind of vary it up. If it's a green pitch, you're trying to just hit a length, nip it away. And so it's like all of those different things which you do as a bowler, right? You've got to be able to adapt. So them just tossing it up and trying to get them to like look for spin, right? If the spin's not there, then you've got to be able to adapt to that. Whether it's like getting Cesar Fernando to come and bowl some wide Yorkers at the death to try and like really like stop their progression, or as a spinner darting it in, trying to hit the pads, or maybe dragging your length back a bit and like trying to keep that trajectory low, like we can see from Winindu. But like it's just stuff like that. And like I know you spoke about yesterday with Laligay and maybe trying to have him as a dartier bowler. I think Laligay's potential is higher than that of like an Axar's. I think he can be a slow bowler. I think that's his skill set. He gets flight and turn, and with his arm ball, that's when you see the drift and the quicker one. So if you can get him to be able to do both and like change on the pitch, right, that's what you want from him. And I know Axar can do it, but like I think Laligay's talent as a left arm spinner is much higher than Axar's. He is incredibly talented, and if we mishandle Laligay, it really upset me.
Yeah, it was interesting, the lengths and the lines, like the spinners, especially in the death overs, the lengths and lines they were bowling were just either we're gonna toss it up relatively shortish, and then you can hit us and wide, and you can hit us over cover, right, which is what Brook was doing, or we're gonna bowl at that same length but towards the stumps, and then you're just going to play us through over mid wicket. And there was no attempt to say, okay, let's either bowl it fuller, right, or let's change the pace or vary the line. It just seemed like they were doing the same things, and Brook only had to play 2 shots ever, right, and he was on, so he was connecting on them.
Yeah, Kai, I'm going to let you go, but before I do that, I just want to know, what football shirt is it you're wearing today? Is it a Copenhagen shirt?
This is a France top. I think it's
yes.
2006 is a down top.
Lovely. Yeah, when you're coming on the show, if you come on with, I was just say obscure, I mean France side obscure. If you come on with kind of any football shirt, you get bonus points. Kai, I'll let you go. Thanks for coming on, bro. Hopefully see you back on Friday. That'd be great. Lahindu, thank you for joining us today. How you doing, bro? Where are you joining us from?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah, man.
I'm from Dubai.
Oh, lovely.
Awesome.
Were you back in Sri Lanka for Christmas? Did I see that?
Yeah. I was in Sri Lanka, I think, last week. Yes, 2 weeks ago.
Lovely. Did you have a good time?
Of course, man.
Right. Good, man. Well, what do you think of the game today? How was it for you?
I think it was a good game actually. I mean, we have to admire the greatness of Root, right? I mean,
Mhm.
so many times whenever this guy plays against us, he scores tons of runs. Right now, it's feel like I mean, just another player who loves to batting against Sri Lanka, right? I remember even the last Test series that they toured Sri
Oh my
Lanka. This
God.
guy scored like tons.
We couldn't get him out. We could not get him
Exactly.
out.
I mean, it's same, right? This guy loves play against us.
Look, if someone
Yeah.
told me Root was actually born in Sri Lanka and his parents kidnapped him at a young age and took him to Yorkshire, I would totally believe it. Like, he looks born to play in our pitches, right?
Exactly.
You know that Root is
Yes.
short for Ratnayaka, right?
Give us
Yeah.
back our batter. Like,
Yeah, I mean, see, I thought it's very good game. I mean, we have to give the appreciation to England team, and I think the second game we were short like, I don't know, like 20-30 runs. From that point of time, I think England were, I mean, they were doing really well. So it's sad. I mean, we were in a position to put English under really pressure because I hope. I mean, I would love to see them going through the qualifications uh, for the World Cup. I would love to see that, but I think we missed that chance.
I think there's a chance that England, because I was talking about it, because obviously I don't follow them that closely, but the other people I was with do, and I was talking about whether or not, like, what it means that they've won 2 games, and apparently not much. Apparently they're still in quite a thick, in a terrible position. So, your dream of watching England qualify, go through ODI qualification could
it would be really good for the nations who plays qualification, because they will get a lot of eyeballs on them. If a team like England are playing with them, right? So I would love to see that. Yeah.
Obviously, I'm gutted Sri Lanka lost 2 matches and the series, but I did really enjoy how much of it. There was something like quite old-fashioned about this ODI series, wasn't there? Like, the first 2 games quite low scoring. Could it, 240, 250 looked like a good score on both these pitches. Third game today, that went in a different direction. But those first 2 games, I just think 50 over cricket is totally undervalued, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I like that kind of match. I like the grind it out. I think Root said no one likes to watch 4.5 runs and over. I love watching it.
100%. Yeah. Other day I was watching New Zealand India game, T20 game. I mean, honestly, I would love to see this hard grind one-day cricket over that tennis ball type of cricket. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I like watching it. Do I think strategically is it the best decision for Lankan players to play on that? No, because they need to adapt to the tennis ball cricket, right? And they don't have the skill set to immediately take to it, right? They can get there, but they need time to get there. But that being said, I enjoy watching games like that. And then I also like the variation of, like, okay, 220, 250. Now you've got a 350 pitch, right? Now, how are these teams going to bat? And I thought, and if I had to take a positive away from this series, I thought that the Sri Lankan players played with more pride. I think the last time we saw them, or 2 times ago when we saw them against Pakistan in Pakistan for that tri-series, they were sorely lacking that. And it seemed like they really sort of turned up and were ready to fight. And the way they went out guns blazing today was, to my mind, a sign that, mentally they're ready to fight and they're ready for a showdown in this World Cup. And I just want to see them continue to have that attitude. And I think, interestingly, Mark, you got to it a little bit. I wonder how much the players are trying to take this into their own hands, realizing they're the masters of their own ship at the moment. Sanath is going to be, is not going to be coach afterwards. So it's their job to lay down the roots and to make this what they can.
It doesn't matter how we got here, but we're here, right? We are now a couple of days away from the last stop before the Rotar Medabad. For me, the World Cup really begins on Friday, right? T20 matches against England. England aren't the England of a few years ago when it comes to white ball cricket, but they're still quite formidable. There'll be a real test. I think when we play England and when we play Australia, regardless of the shape that the opposition are in, it's always a high pressure game. It's always a big game for us. I think this is the mentally now they've got to get into it. Yep. I also think the format of the World Cup, having to play that group stage, which realistically, I mean, if Sri Lanka struggling to get through that group stage, then
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're Lanka's much deeper problems, right? They kind of got to get themselves into a point where going to that first game against Ireland, the game against Zimbabwe, they are ready to go. They are like bite for it. The individual players know what they need to do. I think that, like, for me, all like this series, this T20 series is massive. I think today at half time at the innings break, I think the England players would be thinking that's it. What these guys got to do. Sri Lanka showed so much cricketing nous. They showed so much heart. They showed the fire. They showed that the fire was in the belly and the ice was in the head. They nearly did it. They nearly did it. They had a good plan to do it. And the plan was so different to the way England tried to do it.
Exactly.
Back the boys. Home World Cup. I'm so excited. Are you excited?
100% excited. I mean, as you said, I think it's about time as well. These players, they were together for a while now. I think 2-3 World Cups now, T20 World Cups.
Yep.
So it's about time. It's all about getting the core group together, and I hope we will get some favors from the God as well in terms of luck. And then obviously, I think we are on the road to semi-final and then to the final. I think we will not get a better opportunity than this, right? We are playing at home, the conditions that we know.
RPS, I mean, Jay says, if DDS starts that T20 series, I will throw a mutton roll at someone. I mean,
I'm the home of all mutton rolls.
Yeah.
Hindu, I'm going to let you go for the moment because I've got Dineth in the background. If you want to come on, please do. Dineth, how's it going? I'm just going to put the link. I assume you're in the States. Are you okay? Because I know the weather's bad because Dom keeps telling me about it.
No, it's pretty bad out here, but the snow has subsided, so I'm able to walk around a bit more. Yeah.
Cool. Firstly, sorry I didn't get to meet you when we were both in Sri Lanka over Christmas.
All good.
It's hectic, isn't it? Because you have to go see all the family all the time, everywhere. What do you think of the game?
I didn't get to watch the first innings, so I can't comment too much on the bowling. The chase was good. I thought it was pretty competitive. I enjoyed Pavan's fight. I thought that there were a bit too many soft dismissals at times. I thought Mishara it was a bad ball that Will Jackson bowled. Similarly, Kusal Mendes, Patton Nisanka, they're trying to go at it, and they got a bit unlucky. I swear to God, if I see DDS in this white ball lineup again, I'm very ardently against it. I think you guys know this from my comments. I just don't get it. I really don't understand. His white ball numbers are historically terrible. I don't understand. I don't know if he's done particularly well in a domestic competition.
There's
literally,
no
this is
T20 competition that they played, right?
I think the only thing is the practice game, right? He had the one practice game where he had 95 not out of 40 balls, which is great. That's good. But honestly, his inclusion in the T20 side at least is less justified than Niroshan Dikwala. I honestly believe.
I think you're right. Though Dikwala, he was in the 25. But if you're going to play, this is what I've been saying, if you're going to play DDS at 4 and say his bowling is valuable, why don't you play Will Alagay at 4? He can strike faster than DDS. He's a left-hander. He can take down spin, and he's a better bowler, and he's as good of a fielder. So to me, I just don't get it. Kamindu, right? You can use Kamindu's bowling. He's not as good of a bowler, but he's certainly a better batter and as good of a fielder as well. So I don't get it. I'm curious again what the boys are thinking in terms of what they would like to do. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what Charith, who now seems to be finding his voice, what Kusal and Patham are thinking about. What's the best way to approach this World Cup? And I really do hope that they take some onus and put it on them. I think they realize now that, as Mark said, this is the opportunity. It's put up or shut up time for this group of players who's kind of been there, and I'm excited to see what they have and what they can produce. And Dineth, I hope you don't have any classes between 8:30 and 12 during the World Cup, because that's going to be pretty rough.
I was watching the game in one of my classes today morning. It's okay. I'll figure it out.
Is there a Sri Lankan society or like kind of?
I'm one of like 3 Sri Lankan students on campus, and nobody else watches cricket, so I'm a lone warrior.
Will you kind of get together with them, and will they all be watching it? Like, how will you?
I think for the World Cup, some of the South Asians will get together. Yeah. We'll try to, especially with it being held in India and Sri Lanka.
Yeah, absolutely. Does the same happen at your uni as well, Dom? Or
no, not too many cricket fans there, not too many Sri Lankans either. So, what can you do? What can you do?
Udith is in the comments. Come in, bro. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We've always got time and space for you.
Big fan of Udith.
Yeah.
Everything.
Big fan as
the
well.
OG.
Yeah.
The OG, the original Sri Lankan cricket talker.
Dylan, did you go to the match today? I know you went to the match the other day.
Yeah, I want to know what the atmosphere was like. I want to talk a little bit about Harry Brook, because I feel like when I'm in Sri Lanka, I spend a lot of time on the south coast, right? And there's a lot of blokes who look like Harry Brook wandering around, all trying to find themselves. And I feel like Harry Brook really, he came to Sri Lanka a little bit lost, getting punched in the face by or getting into kerfuffles with bouncers. I don't know if you got punched in the face or not. Don't quote me on that. Going to the Ashes and losing his way a little bit. And he came to Sri Lanka. He didn't really get it at first. He didn't really understand it. He didn't get the pictures. He didn't think they were for him. But then he found himself today, didn't he? It's difficult to say, but that was quite an exciting knock, isn't it? And it kind of set the game up a little bit, even though Sri Lanka was like, oh my gosh, how hospitable can Sri Lanka be? What was going on there? He was getting thrown down mutton rolls at the end of that.
I was going to say, we were talking about this, Mark, he realized the mutton roll way of life. He's like, he didn't want to accept them. He was trying to play conservatively in the first match, and then he just threw caution to the wind and just knocked down a few. Whatever he did between games 2 and 3, he just turned it on. And I think it's a valuable lesson, especially ahead of this T20 World Cup, that you are not going to be spared. There's no respect that's going to be given to any of these bowlers. You have to be ready for them to play a shot of ball and have your plans, right? Because I forget who said it. I think it was Wint who said it, that when the plan A went awry, there was no response. There was no good response. I think that will change in the T20 series, where you have bowlers like Tikshana and Patirana and Eshan Malinga who know what to do when you're getting hammered, who have those counters.
So there's a couple of questions come in that I will answer. Someone's asked us to review Australia's T20 World Cup squad. This is the wrong show. I know we are on Combox. We do broadcast on Combox now, and I'm sure Jared and other people involved in Combox will have a full review of Australia's squad. This is the Murali End. We just talk about Sri Lanka, basically. Someone's asked us to pick the starting 11 for the first T20. I mean, I don't even want to kind of speculate, right? With Sri Lankan cricket, absolutely anything's possible.
But Dinesh, why don't you give us your ideal 11? Put it out to the universe, right? Anything's possible.
For the T20? Yeah. So obviously Nisanka, Mishara, Kusal Mendes. I mean, Charita Salang has to be there somewhere. This is not in order. I'm just kind of listing it. Dasu Shanaka, I think Janet Leonig is supposed to be there. It really depends on the pitch. I'm wondering if kind of the flatter pitch that was given is going to be the kind of archetype for the World Cup pitches. Maybe we'll see some of that in the T20 series. If so, maybe kind of, Vella, I think Vella should be the T20 side. Hasaranga and I think Eshan Maling. I think Patiran and Eshan Maling, of course, are really good. One of Chamira, if he's healthy. Not sure if I missed any batsmen. And I'm not sure if I've named more than 11 either. But I think I've named some pretty capable players.
Yeah.
I reckon at Candy, I reckon Patarana's kind of got to play, right? I don't know how much he's played for Sri Lanka in Pallekele since, because he hasn't played anywhere near as much international cricket as he has played. I think that's his hometown. I think it would be great for him to come in and have a go. I always, and I've said this repeatedly on Murali End for years and years and years. If you've got if slingers are available, they should be in the squad. And if you've got a slinger in your squad, they should be in your team. I don't like someone like Harry Brook. I don't know how many balls of how much would have faced someone like Patarana. Harry Brook hasn't played a huge amount or anywhere near as much IPL or franchise cricket as you think he should have. So I think, when you play against England and you play against most sides, having a slinger, for me, it's just absolutely. I think then the question is Chamira or Isha Malinga. I think at the moment it feels like Chamira's in the ascendancy.
I think you can it depends 6-5-7-4, right? I think that's the other question. Because you can play Malinga, Chamira, Patirana, Dikshana, and Hasaranga, and potentially fit in a Walalage as a batter as well, batter bowler. But that would probably look like Nisanka, Mishara, Mendis, Walalage, Asalanka, Shanaka, Hasaranga, and then the bowlers, right? So it's a short batting lineup, a shorter batting lineup. But I think that's certainly one possible strategy. Again, to your point, Mark, about playing a slinger, right? Especially if you're playing at RPS, you're taking the pitch out of the equation. You don't need movement for a slinger to be effective. The Yorker is always going to be effective no matter the length. No matter what the pitch is doing because of the length.
Dennis, I'm going to let you go because I'm worried that you've got to leave us in a few minutes anyway. But if you could just kind of hang about at the back while your video uploads. Dom, should we have a look at some of these? So the other thing I was going to say, Dom, right, is I think today, definitely the second half of that match, it kind of felt like this was Charith's team.
Yeah.
Right. It kind of felt like this is he's got himself into the side. Pavan's batting that forward. They're kind of floating the rest of the batters, floating they've got a real plan and idea of how they're going to do it. T20s, new captain, Dustin Shanaka. And don't misunderstand me. This isn't a slight on Dustin Shanaka, but I wonder what I'm excited or interested to see is how different the attitude is. Because I felt today, the second half of that match, it didn't work out, but there was real role clarity. They decided how they were going to go about doing it, which quite often you haven't seen. And
I will say Dawson has done that. Like the T20 Asia Cup that we won, that's why we were successful, because Dawson did the work of clarifying roles. And I think in terms of bowling captaincy, Dawson is more capable than Charith at the moment. But the batter's mentality, that's what I want to see replicated. And Charith is going to be in the 11. I want to see him continue to take the lead and say, this is how we're going to play. This is what we're going to do. And that this really is a World Cup, that is there for, like, it's great conditions for us. It's on us to take it. And we have to play like that. We can't let it come to us. We can't say we're going to play it as it goes. We have to come out and grasp it with two hands.
Dom, we've kind of teed up the T20s quite nicely. Should we leave it there for today? I'm super excited.
Yeah.
I'm super excited about what happens the next few days. I'm super excited about that World Cup now. I'm always excited when Sri Lanka play cricket. I'm especially excited today. We've got a lot planned for the World Cup. There's a lot going on in the background about people we think we can get in to do shows with us and bring you some different kind of insight and different ideas coming through, because I know you're probably sick of listening to me and Dom and give us all give you all our ideas and thoughts. And there's a whole universe of Sri Lankans who are thinking about cricket. We want to try and make this as broad as possible. We'll also, at some point from the end of the England series and the beginning of the World Cup, we'll do a big preview of Sri Lanka as well, and we're working on that as well. Sanuda has asked for a live watch along. I'll be honest, right? I would absolutely love to do that. We'd all love to do that. The problem is it's the delay. So we all watch cricket wherever you are, unless you're in the same room as the other people watching along. It basically doesn't work because Dom's going to see wickets before I do because England has shonky broadband or whatever, right? So he's going to be talking about something that I haven't seen happen yet. But stick with Combox. If you're not subscribed to Combox, hit that because there is some plans for something going on there that might be quite exciting. I can't quite tell you what it is, but there is something happening there as well that could be kind of watch along that's going to bring in people from a slightly wider pool. We're trying to pull things all together. It's cricket, it's Sri Lanka, of course it's last minute. But we'll be back again on Friday. Thanks a lot. See you all then. Bye.
It's the Murali End, you're in the place to be. Analyze the players and the team. Keep a great company in the stream.
It's the Murali End. Welcome to the show. We're here when you're high. We're here when you're low. Some days you're happy, some days you wanna when happy it's we when mad it's them. It's the same place, Murali End. Sri Lanka cricket we gon' represent. So tell a friend.